Elon Musk issues final warning. Black Millionaire plans to reach your home directly. Lights flickered across the towering cityscape. A chaotic orchestra of shining screens and glowing towers. And right in the middle of it all stood Marcus Reed, watching the world from his glass office high above. The city was alive, humming with electricity, but the glow didn't reach the corners that needed it most. And that's exactly why Marcus's project was about to shake everything. Clean, cheap energy for the forgotten, Marcus whispered to himself, his voice tight with hope and panic. His fingers tapped the smooth glass, the city lights bouncing in his eyes like distant promises. Behind those promises, a storm was brewing, fierce, ruthless, and dangerous. News had already leaked. The streets below buzzed with talk. Excited murmurs, wild speculation. Corporations were biting their nails, faces pinched with fear. This billionaire with the bold dreams, he was a threat. The elites whisper. An old message popped up on Marcus's encrypted screen. The words hit his chest like a punch. Sabotage incoming. Watch your back. Family past isn't dead. A ghost from his dark family history, long hidden under layers of success and steel, had crawled back to the surface. His heart slammed against his ribs. His hands shook. This wasn't just about energy anymore. It was personal. He thought about walking away, about folding under the weight, the scandal that could ruin him overnight. The powerful enemies smiling behind closed doors. But no, this city lived in darkness for too long. The people who counted on him, he owed them a future, lit by hope, not greed. Just as Marcus reached to open a file with all the blueprints, the sharp click of his door startled him. A figure stepped into the room, someone he hadn't seen in years, a name from the past, eyes full of secrets. The air hung heavy with unspoken truths. Marcus's throat tightened. The years crashed down at once. "What are you doing here?" Marcus demanded, voice cracking. The visitor smiled faintly, a shadow of old promises and new threats. "You can't fight this alone anymore." Before Marcus could respond, the entire city exploded into darkness. Screens went black. The humming lights died. Panic ripped through the streets like wildfire. Screams rose. Sirens shattered the silence. The blackout was no accident. Marcus's vision, the one that could change everything, was drowning in chaos. Who had the power to pull the city's plug? And could he fight back before it was too late? He swallowed hard, breath caught in his throat. In that crushing silence, he knew the battle was only beginning. Hey, before we continue with this amazing story, I need to give you an important warning. Many subscribers have reported that YouTube removed their subscriptions without notice. Take a quick look at the red button below to make sure you're still subscribed to the channel. I don't want you to miss any exclusive content that's coming. And since you're here, drop a powerful like that really helps me with the algorithm. Oh, and let me know en los comentarios qué ciudad decidas. Me encanta conocer a toda amable persona que son parte de nuestra comunidad. Tu participación hace toda la diferencia. Let's interactar. La oscuridad solapó a la ciudad. Una ola de pánico cayendo sobre las calles. El corazón de Marcus asó la sanga. Altera se irá el ritmo caótico suprema a la reina. Cuestiones volando en su mente. But she spoke first. Marcus lo escucha. Un sonido palabra suave le pasó. En ese momento abrupto, Marcus miró al ojo a una familiaridad. No era un cuento a sí mismo, era su hermana Mia, la niña que se había dejado por años atrás, la que él caía perdido por siempre. Mia? His voice was barely a whisper, tinged with disbelief and longing. You're alive! Mia stepped forward, her expression serious. We don't have time for reunions. The blackout, it's not just a coincidence. The room felt too small. Marcus searched her eyes, seeking answers, but only found shadows. What do you mean? Those who control the power. They're coming for you. They know you're a threat. This isn't some random act. It's calculated. The tension twisted tighter around him. He felt trapped. Then Mia's voice dropped to a near whisper. And your project? It's not just about energy. It's about revenge. What? The word burst from him, raw confusion wrapping around his thoughts. Revenge? What on earth are you talking about? Mia took a step closer, her breath shaky. You don't remember, do you? The reason we lost everything. It wasn't just bad luck or the market crashing. It was a setup. I've been piecing things together. We were targeted. That company. She hesitated, glancing at the darkened city outside. They're the same ones who hurt us. They want to bury you again. In that moment, everything he believed about his past shattered. The ambitious billionaire's facade crumbled, revealing a frail man caught in the crossfire of old vendettas. But how could you know? You were just a kid when. I grew up, Marcus. Her voice rang fierce, piercing through his haze. And I learned to listen and watch. I know the truth, and it's ugly. Your enemies? They swing their power like a hammer. If you think you're the only one in danger. She stilled, fear rushing into her eyes. He wanted to grasp onto denial, shield himself from this new reality. But the weight of her words sank like stones in his gut. Mia, you're scaring me! The lights flickered again, this time brighter. And she shivered at the sudden gust of wind sweeping into the office. Smells of smoke wafting in with it. They're not just coming for your ideas. Marcus, they want you to disappear. That's when the room shook, a violent tremor rattling everything. Books fell from shelves, and the massive glass walls reflected chaos. A crowd spilling into the streets below. Their panic feeding into an electric fear. Mia, we have to get out of here! He cried, adrenaline pumping, pulling her towards the door. She didn't move. They're coming for both of us. We need to face this together. And one more thing. In that moment, the ground quaked again. But louder, a thunderous roar drowning out her voice. Buildings trembled, dust fell like rain. When the shadows broke and the lights surged back, an explosion ripped through the building across the street. A massive fireball illuminating the night. The explosion sent shockwaves that knocked them both to the floor. Then Marcus saw it. A figure standing in the flames. A face he recognized too well. His blood ran cold. "No, it can't be! Miles!" Mia screamed, her eyes wide with horror. "You need to run!" But it was too late. The man he had trusted, the one who promised loyalty, was now an enemy. A storm of realization hit him. The real game was just beginning. Mia grabbed his arm. "It's all connected, Marcus. Everything!" And in that moment, beneath the crumbling skyline, everything he thought he knew about his life began to unravel. The darkness swallowed everything. The lights, the noise, the city's heartbeat, all gone in an instant. Panic surged through Marcus as he turned to face the visitor. They stood still, shadows stretching across the room, the air crackling with unspoken tension. Marcus demanded, voice shaking. He thought he knew everyone from his past. The figure stepped closer, the faint glow of emergency lights revealing a familiar face. One he hadn't seen in years, one he thought he could leave behind. "It's time you knew the truth, Marcus." The tone was calm, almost too calm. "What truth?" He narrowed his eyes, feeling the weight of something ominous creeping in. The blackout outside wrapped the city in fear. But here, something deeper threatened to unravel. "I'm not just anybody." The visitor's lips curled into a knowing smile. "I'm your brother." Marcus stumbled back, disbelief flooding his mind. "No, that's impossible." He stopped, breath caught in his throat. Flashes of a childhood filled with secrets and lies passed through him. They had been told their entire lives it was just him and his mother. "You can't be serious!" "I am. You're not the only one with a plan for this city. Our father, he made choices, dark choices." The words dripped with accusation. "And those choices follow us. They want you silenced." Marcus felt cold. What did this all mean? Was everything he built based on a lie? Who were they really? He glanced at the screen, the blueprints pulsing with urgency. Why now? Why come back when I'm about to change everything? I had to warn you, they won't stop. They know you're about to make a move, and they will do anything to stop you. They've already cut the power. The voice quivered like the air around them. "You're in danger, brother." The room felt smaller now, suffocating. Memories stirred, and every repressed feeling bubbled just beneath his skin. "You could have come to me before. We could have worked together." A flicker of hope ignited in Marcus's chest. "Could we?" The brother's voice darkened. "We're not just brothers. We're pawns in a game much larger than either of us. You think you've been free all this time, but they've been watching. Your every move has been calculated. You didn't make it on your own." The truth landed hard. The thrill of success twisted into despair. "What do you mean?" He gripped the edge of his table, knuckles white. The fear in his chest collided with anger. "There's one more thing." The brother's gaze dropped. "The project you're working on? It was our father's idea first. He wanted to weaponize it." "What?" Marcus shot back, confusion morphing into rage. "That can't be true." "Oh, it is. You were built to be the hero, but it was all to keep this technology from falling into the wrong hands." He lifted his eyes, filled with sorrow. "And they're about to take it back." A sudden crash echoed from outside, the panic below escalating into chaos. The city cried out in desperation, and the immediate danger pulsed through Marcus's veins. "No! They can't take this from me," he whispered, a fire igniting deep inside him. Then the emergency sirens blared outside, cutting through the air like a knife. His brother stepped back toward the door, eyes wide with urgency. "We don't have much time. They'll come for you first." Before Marcus could respond, the door slammed open, and armed figures flooded into the room. Their presence loomed like a shadow of doom. Eyes darting, heart racing, Marcus realized the stakes had just changed. His family history clawed its way into the present, intertwining with a fight he had thought was his alone. As chaos erupted, Marcus swallowed hard. He had to act. But into whose hands would he place his trust? What path lay ahead, and at what cost? The answers hung heavy in the air, and a chilling uncertainty wrapped around him as the conflict unfurled. In that instant, every choice mattered, and everything he thought he knew began to shatter. The door burst open. Armed figures flooded in, their uniforms a dark blur against the chaos. Marcus's heart raced, adrenaline surged. They were coming for him. No, for them. "Get down!" his brother shouted, diving for cover. The room erupted into a cacophony of shouting and chaos. Marcus grabbed Mia, pulling her beside him. They crouched low, breaths ragged. Outside, the city had turned into a nightmare, sirens wailing, people screaming. The agents advanced, their eyes scanning for targets. Marcus felt a tight knot in his stomach. Who were these people? What did they want? "Miles, cover us!" he yelled, urgency boiling in his veins. But there was no answer. He glimpsed his brother, huddled behind the desk, face pale. Then, without warning, a loud explosion rocked the building, shaking the floor beneath them. Dust rained down like confetti, harbingers of chaos. The agents flinched, eyes darting to the window. But Marcus seized the moment. "Mia, we need to move!" He pulled her toward the back door, but then they heard a booming voice emerge from the darkness. "Stop right there!" It was Miles, stepping into view, gun drawn. A part of Marcus wanted to believe he was there to help. But the look in his eyes, cold and calculating, sliced through that hope. "Marcus, you don't want to do this." "What? You're one of them?" Panic twisted in Marcus's throat. "I trusted you!" "No," Miles' voice cracked, but he held steady, his expression unreadable. "I'm trying to protect you." "From what? You think I'm just gonna stand down?" Marcus stepped forward, fists clenched, rage bubbling under the surface. "What the hell is going on?" Before Miles could respond, another explosion rattled the room, and Marcus felt the air shift. Moments later, a woman emerged from the smoke, unfazed, moving like a ghost with a purpose. Her eyes, sharp as daggers, fixed on Marcus. "It's time, Marcus." "Mila?" His breath caught in disbelief. The childhood friend he thought he'd lost. But why was she here? And what did she mean by time? "Everything you believe is a lie." Her voice cut through the chaos like a scalpel. "They're not just after you. They're after us. All of us." Marcus's mind raced. The truth? The power? He gripped the edge of the desk, reality shifting like sand beneath his feet. "I'll explain later," Mila said. "Right now, we need to get out of here. Together." "Together?" Miles spat, disbelief spilling from his lips. "You trust her after everything?" Mila stepped closer, urgency in her voice. "You're out of your depth, Miles. They know about the project, and they'll kill us all if we don't act. At that, Miles hesitated. Marcus scanned his brother's face, confusion painted over anger. "Enough of this!" an agent shouted, leveling his weapon at them. "Stand down!" "Wait!" Marcus shouted. It was all spiraling. So many revelations. The weight of betrayal was thick in the air. "Mila, what are we dealing with?" he asked, voice steady despite the panic. "Your father's legacy. It's not what you think." She hesitated, and for a split second, the room felt impossibly small. He'd built this technology, Marcus, but not to save the city. He was planning something far worse. The seconds stretched painfully as realization crashed upon Marcus. "What do you mean?" "Control." Her breath trembled, and with it the foundations of his world began to shake. He wanted to use the energy project to dominate everyone, everything. A siren wailed, shaking Marcus from the revelation. His thoughts tangled in confusion. The city, the elites, the project. It was never just about energy. It was always about power. Then, out of the corner of his eye, he caught a glimpse of movement at the door. Not just agents. Something darker. Something ancient. And in that split second, as all eyes turned toward the entrance, a shadow stepped through, cloaked in darkness, and everything, every belief, every relationship, teetered on the edge of a knife. "Time's up!" echoed a chilling voice, one that sent shivers down Marcus's spine. It was time for real truths to emerge, for the games to unravel, and for alliances to fracture. What lay ahead was a storm unlike anything they'd faced before, and the shadows were only just beginning to gather. The city was plunged into darkness, and fear rippled through the streets. Marcus stood frozen, heart racing, eyes darting to the figure in the doorway. It was Clara, his sister, the sibling he thought lost to a past he'd tried to leave Her presence twisted his stomach, the ghosts of their shared childhood rushing back. "What are you doing here?" he asked again, a whisper of accusation hanging in the air, the weight of their shared history pulling him down. "I had to come, Marcus. They're coming for you," she replied, urgency slicing through her calm demeanor. On any other day, he would have dismissed her. But tonight felt different. The blackout had unleashed something primal and chaotic. Suddenly, his phone buzzed violently on the desk, its screen a frantic glow against the darkness. Grabbing it, Marcus saw the name that lit his heart with dread. Gerard. A rumbling in his gut warned him about this call. He hesitated, then swiped to answer. "Marcus," Gerard's voice crackled sinisterly, heavy with menace. "I wasn't expecting you to survive the night. I guess I underestimated you." "Gerard, no time for pleasantries. Your sister has a particular talent for stirring trouble," he cut in, and Marcus's breath faltered. Clara's face paled, eyes wide with fear. "But that's not what concerns me. It's your precious project. I've got something you'll want to see." A static-laden pause fell over the line, and a video popped up on Marcus's screen. Marcus felt his stomach drop as he recognized the familiar steel structure, a prototype of his clean energy generator still under wraps. But this version was different. Broken, twisted metal. Fire. "No," Marcus whispered. He had poured everything into it, into hope. You can't. Not when you're this close to the finish line. But I thought you'd want to see what happens when you upset the order, Gerard said, a sickening satisfaction lacing his voice. The video showed shadows skittering, men below with fiery torches, saboteurs unleashed from the underbelly of the city. "Marcus, we need to go," Clara urged, panic slick in her voice. Before he could respond, the screens in his office flickered to life, news reports flooding in. Breaking! A citywide blackout linked to the unveiling of an unapproved energy project has caused chaos. Corporate interests mobilizing. The images rolled, showing hysteria in the streets. But then, a press conference appearance. Gerard standing confidently. The crowd surged behind him, cheers and cries mixing into a roar. "We have the answer. The city needs leadership," he proclaimed, rallying support like a serpent weaving lies. "Marcus, he's turning it against you," Clara shouted, urgency finding its way back to him. "Enough!" She grasped his arm. But as she did, a crack echoed from behind, the sound of glass shattering. Marcus turned to see men in dark suits forcing their way inside. Panic surged again, the room spinning as a flash of terror gripped him. "Marcus, run!" Clara screamed, pushing him toward the window. But as he turned, her face twisted with betrayal. "You've been blind this whole time! You really think they want to change anything? They want to use you!" "What are you talking about?" His heart sank, the words hitting him like a cold wave. "Oh, you're not as special as you think," she retorted, voice steady. "You might just be the next chess piece, Marcus, and you never saw it coming." The ground shifted underfoot. The truth crashed into him like a thunderstorm. His sister, his own blood, wrapped in a web of deceit deeper than he'd ever imagined. The lights flickered again in the chaos, and he felt the walls closing in. "Get out!" he shouted, voice cracking. But as the shadows of the intruders grew closer, one final revelation shattered his world. Clara had never come to save him. She was there to pull the strings. Everything he trusted, everything he built, was about to burn to ashes, and he was right in the middle, chained to a betrayal he couldn't escape. The blackout swallowed them whole. The silence was like a thick fog pressing down, and Marcus stood frozen, part pounding in his ears. "We have to move!" he shouted to his visitor, but the air crackled with static, a sense of impending doom. The lights flickered back on just as abruptly as they had shut off, revealing chaos. The hum of fear echoed in the air. "What happened?" Marcus yelled. "I know who did this!" the visitor replied, stepping forward, cackling maniacally. "Urgency replacing the calm facade. We have a leak in the inner circle." Marcus felt the floor drop beneath him. "What do you mean? Who?" "What? Your mother." The words sliced through the air, chilling. Marcus's mind raced, confusion mixing with disbelief. "My mother? She died years ago." "Or so you thought. She's here, in the shadows. The same blood runs in your veins," the visitor said, eyes darting like a whirlwind. "She's been orchestrating this from behind the scenes. There's more at stake than you know." No. Marcus stumbled back, knocking a chair over. The city below still teetered on the edge of chaos, citizens screaming and scrambling in the darkness. "She wouldn't, not after everything. There's something you need to see." Without waiting for a response, the visitor pulled up a holographic screen that flickered to life with ominous speed. News reports flooded in, with headlines slashing across the screen. "Mysterious blackout hits city. Are we under attack? Corporate sabotage or family betrayal? A familiar face blinked into view, his mother or a ghostly resemblance of her. She spoke smoothly, confidently, a deep, seductive voice. Control is everything. You've been too naive, Marcus. You thought you could change the world, but the world doesn't change. Marcus felt a lump of ice settle in his stomach. She's alive? Why didn't I know? She was protecting you, or so she thought. But she needs you back. You're the key to her plans, to her real agenda. The visitor pressed. Marcus's heart thudded heavily. It all made sense. The whispers he'd heard in the dark corners of his mind, the warnings, the signs. He could feel his hands trembling, a mixture of rage, betrayal, and fear that coursed through him. I won't help her. I won't let her ruin everything I've built. But you have a choice to make, the visitor insisted, gripping Marcus's shoulder, a lifeline in the growing tempest. She wants to use your work, to gain control over the city, to dominate it like never before. She sees you as nothing but a tool. As if summoned, the air flickered ominously, dulling the lights again. Panic rippled through the streets below. Marcus could sense the truth crashing down, waves of betrayal washing over him. Power surged within him, the power to fight or to fold under the weight of family legacy. Make your move, Marcus, the visitor said low. Because soon, it won't just be the city in darkness. It will be you. His breath hitched as a thought struck. Was anyone truly safe? His mother, the very person he had mourned, was standing against him, a shadow in his brightest dream. He looked down at the city, now a web of possibilities and unknowns. It's not just about energy anymore, he whispered. It's about survival. And just like that, everything shattered into chaos. Marcus's fate hung in the balance, suspended in uncertainty like a thread waiting to snap. What would he do next? And whose side did he really choose? The silence swallowed them whole. Marcus stood frozen, the dark shadow of uncertainty creeping over him like a cold fog. He could hear his heartbeat, echoing louder than the city's screams outside. The figure before him, a ghost from his past, stayed rooted at the door, eyes glinting in the dim light. Who are you? Marcus forced the words out, tension stretching in the air. I'm someone you can trust, the visitor replied, voice soft, yet edged with urgency. It's time to tell you everything. Marcus felt the ground shift beneath him. What do you mean? Panic clawed at his throat. The company, the energy project, it's bigger than you think. They want to keep you from succeeding. They'll do anything to stop you. They'll come after your family, the visitor said. The weight of those words hung heavy between them, and a flash of fear crossed Marcus's face. What the hell are you talking about? He was losing control. The city was plunging into chaos, and he was trapped in a web of dread. The people behind this, they're connected to your past, to your family. They know about your father. The visitor stepped closer, urgency heightening their tone. When the company fell, your family fell, and they want revenge. They'll destroy you to reclaim their legacy. Marcus staggered back, heart racing, mind swirling. His father, He had spent years burying that name, trying to outrun the darkness it carried. "You're lying!" he shouted, but doubt seeped into his voice. All those secrets hidden, all the shame, could it really be true? The visitor shook their head, eyes fierce. It's the truth. They've been waiting for this moment, and now, with the blackout, it's their chance. A deafening explosion ripped through the air, shattering the silence and sending debris raining down outside. The city was alive with screams and the wail of sirens returning in a haunting chorus. Marcus's breath quickened. In that moment, everything felt surreal, like a nightmare spilling into reality. The visitor glanced towards the window, their expression shifting from urgency to fear. "You're not safe here. We need to go now." Just as they turned to leave, the lights flickered back on, blinding brightness flooding the room, cutting through the shadows. But something else emerged behind that glow. Figures moved in the distance, silhouetted against the light. They were dressed in dark suits, moving with a chill that made the air crackle. "Marcus Reed!" one of them shouted, voice booming, commanding. "Your time is up!" He felt a tightening in his chest, a whirlwind of fear and adrenaline, igniting something primal inside him. "They can't find me! We can't!" Before he could finish, the visitor lunged forward and gripped his forearm tightly. "Trust me, if not for you, then for your family. If you don't listen now, this will all end in blood." The world tilted on its axis. Suddenly, everything Marcus believed was at risk. Secrets were blurring. Now, familiar faces held unknown agendas. The past pressed in like a trap, and one thought slammed through his mind, electrifying and terrifying. Could he trust this person? Or was this another wind of betrayal? In that chaotic moment, every piece of his life hung in the balance. As shadows pressed closer, he understood by staying, he was sealing his fate. With resolve tightening in his chest, Marcus turned and raced for the door, heart pounding. The future was dark, the path unclear. But he knew one thing for certain. Everything was about to change, and he was standing at the precipice. Marcus took a sharp breath, the weight of urgency drowning him as he raced for the door. Adrenaline surged, propelling him forward. The darkness pressed in around him, whispers of dread buzzing in his ears. Clara was right behind him, her grip tight on his arm. "Stay close," he called, urgency spilling from his mouth like a lifeline. He could feel the pulse of danger, a low hum threading through the chaos outside. They burst into the hallway. The emergency lights flickered, casting shadows that danced wildly on the walls. Footsteps echoed behind them, heavy and rapid. Marcus's heart pounded in rhythm with the chaos of the city. "Miles!" he shouted, pivoting just in time to see his brother stumble into view, wide-eyed and wild. "We have to get out." But before Miles could respond, the ground shook violently. A distant explosion shattered the already fragile air, sending tremors through the very bones of the building. Panic surged like a tidal wave, crashing over them. Then everything changed in an instant. Through the chaos, a voice rang out, cold and measured. "Stop right there!" The echo of that voice cut through the noise like glass shattering. Marcus turned, recognizing the figure standing in the debris of flickering lights. It was Gerard, The man who had orchestrated so many lives like puppets. He held a device in his hand, glowing ominously, its screen shining with a malicious intensity. You, Marcus spat, anger boiling. You're behind this. I'm not the enemy you think I am, Gerard replied, a sinister smirk forming. I'm the savior. You see, what your mother didn't tell you is that you're the key to this city. You're just like your father. A punch of shock hit Marcus in the gut. Everything he thought he knew came crashing down. What do you mean? My father's legacy? It was a curse? It was power. Pure power. And now it's your chance to claim it. Together, we can change everything. Gerard's eyes glinted with a manic fire. This city is on the brink, and they need someone like you to lead them. Your family history isn't a curse. It's your destiny. No, clash out there, stepping forward, incrédulos. You are playing with forces you don't understand. But Marcus stood frozen, the truth slamming down on him with relentless force. Memories twisted together in his mind. His father's shadow looming large over every choice, every path he thought he'd broken free from. You don't understand, he yelled back, shaking with intensity. I'm nothing like him. Gerard took a step closer, voice silky. You're more than you know, and I can give you the strength to harness it. Join me. Suddenly, the air shifted. A sharp gasp echoed through the hallway, and Marcus turned to see something unfurling in the chaos behind them. A figure stepped into the frame, a tall woman with fierce eyes, bursting with determination. He couldn't believe his eyes. Mila, he stammered, confusion swirling in his brain. But you're supposed to be gone. Marcus, listen, she shouted. This isn't what you think. Gerard's been manipulating everything. Your father's plans. He twisted them for control. It's all about power, and he wants to use you as a pawn. Before he could respond, the lights flickered one last time and plunged everything into darkness. The clamor of chaos faded into eerie silence before snapping back to life, with Gerard's chilling laughter echoing. This is just the beginning, Marcus, he taunted. Choose wisely, your future or your past. In the shadows lie the answers. In that moment, as the ground trembled, a devastating understanding seized Marcus's heart. This was bigger than him. The facade he had built around him crumbled as he realized he was a chess piece in a larger game, locked in a battle of family and betrayal. The room spun, everything warped. I need to get out of here, he whispered, shrouded in overwhelming doubt. But as he turned to flee, his chest tightened with something deeper. A truth begging to escape the darkness. Clara, Miles, Mila, they were all wrapped in this deadly web of deception. Run, he shouted, pushing them forward. As they ran, everything blurred. Sirens wailed outside, screams spiraled into nightmares, and Marcus raced forward, lost in the unfolding darkness, knowing one thing for certain. This was only the calm before a storm that promised to consume them all. Marcus pushed through the chaos, the heavy air suffocating him. Panic became his only companion as he darted through the corridor. Clara and Miles were on his heels, voices rising in urgency, fading in and out like the sirens outside. His mind spun. What was the truth? Lines of loyalty blurred, betrayal wrapped around his chest like a vice. Mila, he called, but the shadows swallowed her reply. Just ahead, the exit loomed, a doorway framed in flickering emergency lights. Dot. Freedom was so close, but as they neared, the ground trembled beneath them again, a visceral shake that jolted him to his core. A distant roar echoed, rising from outside, growing louder. Suddenly, the walls erupted with blinding light, shattering the darkness. The spectacle was breathtaking and terrifying. A massive energy surge spilling through the windows. The brightness illuminated the hallway, bouncing off faces twisted in fear. Then, as quickly as it started, the light twisted into shadow. The air thickened, swirling with heat and smoke. A massive figure emerged, silhouetted against the flames. A woman, her features obscured and commanding. "Stop!" she yelled, voice a thunderclap that silenced the chaos. Marcus's heart sank as the figure stepped fully into the light. It was his mother, her eyes fierce, mouth set in a hard line. "You've all made a terrible mistake," she announced, a chilling authority in her voice. The family he thought he could drift from was back, all the buried secrets clawing their way to the surface. "Mom?" he stammered, voice barely above a whisper. Shock washed over him. "You're supposed to be dead? I know, but you were foolish to think your past wouldn't catch up with you." Her glare swept the room, and Marcus felt the air grow heavy with her power. "You've inherited more than you know, Marcus. This city isn't just your playground. It's your legacy." Mila was right. "Shh, Clara," shouted, stepping forward, fists clenched. "You're manipulating everything." Marcus blinked, struggling to process the chaotic swirl of emotions. His mother was a ghost he never thought to confront. Anger had bubbled inside him, mingled with fear and betrayal. Why now? Why here? The project was never just about energy. It's a key to controlling what lies beneath this city. A web of power that needs to be sewn up. She spat, eyes blazing. "They don't want you to unlock it." "We won't let you do this!" Miles yelled, gripping Clara's arm, eyes darting between the two women. "We'll fight you! You don't control us!" Before the words settled, a deafening crash engulfed them. The floor trembled as an explosion burst behind them. A shockwave of heat and debris. The ground cracked, and with it, the very foundation of loyalty crumbled. "Run!" Marcus screamed, adrenaline blurring into fury. But even as they turned to escape, the ground ripped open. Fissures widening like a caged beast breaking free. A shadow spilled from the depths, a dark energy, ancient and pulsing, drawing the chaos inward. Faces around him contorted in fear, white-knuckled and panicked. In that moment, everything shifted. The figure of his mother seemed to glow, a beacon of strength and deceit. All the conversations they once shared delved into secrets he couldn't comprehend. "Enough of this!" she shouted, stepping forward, her presence swallowing light and hope. "I'm not just your mother. I'm the reason you survive. I've protected you all your life." "Protected?" Marcus snapped, heart racing. "You've kept me in the dark!" But just as everything felt like it was about to snap, Mila lunged, pushing Clara and Miles aside. "Marcus, listen. It's not about her. It's about what's underneath. You need to choose. A blinding flash surged from the crack in the ground, and for an instant he saw it. A power like none before. The lights flickered, and he saw visions, corruption, anguish, power rising, and then there was a name. Gerard? The whisper escaped his lips, but it didn't feel real. Darkness enveloped them, and as the images faded, he felt time itself distort. "No!" his mother cried, her voice blending with the chaos as Marcus felt the weight of choice press down on him. The darkness seeped in deeper, grasping at all he believed. "I didn't come back for you!" she screamed, voice laced with something more sinister than he ever imagined. "I came back for what is mine." With that, the earth trembled fiercely, and a blinding wave of energy washed over them. The world around him flickered, and as the tremors intensified, clarity split through the haze. Time hung suspended. Marcus wondered, what had he truly unleashed? Trust shattered utterly, and as the energy pulled him into oblivion, one question screamed through his mind. Who was his mother really? The ground continued to tremble, fracturing the air with uncertainty. Marcus felt the chaos rise like smoke, thick and cloying. His mother's face morphed into a mixture of rage and desperation as the darkness swept closer, pulling at her with a hunger that felt ancient. "Mom!" he shouted, voice cracking with emotion. "You don't have to do this!" But her eyes were unfocused, locked on the darkness creeping through the cracks of their world. "You don't understand what's at stake, Marcus. Power belongs to those who can wield it." "No, not like this," he yelled, fear and anger mixing into a fire inside him. This wasn't just about him anymore. It was about everyone they had ever hurt. It was about the city they claimed to love. Suddenly, a blinding light burst forth from the fissure in the ground. A blue glow engulfed them, illuminating everything. A flash of revelation striking through Marcus. He saw visions, fragmented images of his father scheming, shadows slipping between the truth. "Mila! Clara! We need to pull her out!" he screamed over the growing roar, desperation thrumming in his veins. As they rushed toward his mother, the shadows twisted dangerously. A wave of heat surged, and the energy crackled, wild and raw. Just before they reached, she lifted a hand, creating an invisible barrier. "You can't stop me!" The room flickered, the chaos threatening to swallow them whole. Panic rushed through Clara. She turned to Marcus. "We have to break her hold!" "But how?" he shouted, the pounding in his chest echoing his hopelessness. "Together!" Mila rushed forward, the determination etched on her face. "We can face this darkness! It's tied to all of us. It's time to end this cycle!" As they joined hands, an intense energy pulsed between them, illuminating the shadowy depths. "This is our power," Clara shouted, voice unified with conviction. Marcus clutched their hands tighter, heart racing. "We won't let you destroy this city." The light surged into a brilliant halo, pushing against the encroaching darkness, illuminating everything in sight. He could see the fear on his mother's face turn to bewilderment, as the energy erupted like a star, radiating with love and defiance. As it collided with his mother's darkness, the air crackled. "No!" she screamed. Panic spreading like wildfire, but they were stronger together. The bond they shared was fierce and unstoppable. The light washed over her, enveloping her in warmth. The shadows retreated like whispers caught in a breeze. With one final push, the darkness shattered, exploding into a flurry of sparks. In the aftermath, silence enveloped them. They stood in the light, their breath ragged, and as the glow faded away, they felt an unexpected calm. Marcus looked around, breathless. "Is it over?" Mila stepped forward, brushing dust from her arms. "For now, but the echoes of this will linger." Clara nodded, haunted yet hopeful. "We must rebuild. The city needs us. We need each other." And just like that, with a sense of renewal thrumming through them, they turned together toward the horizon. Days of endless shadows had ended, but the dawn of something new ignited their hearts. As they strode through the remnants of chaos, a mystery lingered in the air. What other secrets lay buried beneath the surface? Would the shadows return? With unanswered questions swirling in their minds, they walked into a new beginning, ready to face whatever came next. You have to subscribe now! Don't wait another second. Don't just be a spectator. Smash that like button now to boost the algorithm. And I want to hear from you. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this wild ending. Share this video immediately with at least 5 friends who need to see this shocking conclusion. This is the moment to show your support for the channel. Only true fans understand the importance of these actions. Let's keep the adventure going.